when I'm turning off the top, okay, my body is twisting that way, but the lip is also throwing that way, and gravity is pulling me down that way. So these three things that are working together, which allow me to get speed off the top. As a surfer and a coach, I would like to explain my point of view as to how I go about reading waves, and hopefully that if you can see it through my eyes and you understand what I'm doing and why I do it, and then if I compare it to bad surfers, it'll make a lot more sense, and that way you can improve your surfing. So let's jump into it. So if you watch the wave, I go off the bottom, off the top, repeat off the bottom, off the top, a bit tighter turn, and quick off the bottom, off the top. So in a very short space of time, I'm able to get 3 turns in where some people are struggling to just get speed and go down the line. So the first thing that I do is I want to surf smart. So I use the wave for speed. So I take a line, I take off, go straight down the wave like a skateboarder dropping into a ramp. So here it goes, straight down, bang, I've got speed. As I land at the bottom wave with speed, I look up and go, okay, where am I going to do my first top turn? Where I am on that wave at the moment, I'm as close to the foam ball as possible. Now, what happens there is that water draws up the wave face. So if I go on rail, the wave will help lift me up. All I've got to do is move with it. So I'm leaning. Now at that point, my board's on rail and the wave's helping me draw up the wave face. So I've got lots of lift and speed and drive. Then on the top of the wave, over there, I've actually twisted around. So you'll notice that my body's doing a big old twist. Now, when I dropped into the wave, I had my head over the front foot to get speed to drop into it. So as I'm finishing my twist on the turn, I'll zoom into that. And you can see that I've got all my weight centered over my front foot. The poor surfers, when they try to do that turn, they got the head on the back foot and they're pushing the tail down and they're doing a stall turn. So they lose speed. Because I've got my weight centered over the front foot and because I'm heading in that direction, I'm accelerating back into the pocket where the wave is again going to lift me up into the second turn. So the big takeaway here is that I'm using the wave for speed, I'm using the wave for lift. And when I'm turning off the top, okay, my body is twisting that way, but the lip is also throwing that way, and gravity is pulling me down that way. So these 3 things that are working together, which allow me to get speed off the top. So in my head, I'm surfing smart. Now, this is the interesting thing. In order for me to not nosedive, if I cut the turn short, I'd probably nosedive there. But by going all the way back around to the foam, my board fits into the wave. So by me committing to doing a way bigger turn, or supposedly a bigger turn, I'm actually doing a safer turn. If I cut it short, I would have lost speed. If I went nose straight down, I probably would have nosedived because my board won't fit into the curve of the wave. But by committing to a bigger turn, the board fits. Then I hit the foam redirects the board, and when I lean over in the pocket, the wave sucks me up again and asks me to do the second turn. So it's kind of like the wave's doing all the heavy lifting. I'm just guiding the board and enjoying the feeling. At Urban Surf, you get a set of 12 waves that come through, and you get 12 surfers standing up and riding these waves. In that 12 wave set, I've chosen 3 random surfers, and I'm simply going to break them down and try to figure out where are they on the wave. So what's their positioning, the where, and then I'm going to look at the technique and try to figure out what's going wrong. So with our first surfer, he takes off, And the big thing I'm noticing here is that he's running from the pocket. So straight away, if I just try to draw where the pocket is, I'm just kind of outlining that foam ball. What I was trying to do on my wave, I was trying to come nose to the beach and get as tight as I can to that lip. Whereas this surfer, if we just scroll back a little bit, he takes off, he goes nose down the line, and he's mid-face. So straight away, he's running and pumping away from that wave. And then on the second bottom turn, he really projects probably about 2 meters out of the pocket onto the shoulder. So there's no lip. So in other words, over here, there's no wave pushing him down. His momentum is heading out that way. And if you look at the trajectory line that is taken, it's a very, very safe line. So on that wave, I think I would have maybe done my second turn already where he hasn't even started to execute the first one. And if you look at the turn they do, it's a pretty decent turn. So it's a great twist all the way back into the foam, but it wasn't in the critical part of the wave. There was no lip. It was mid-face. And he's wasted a lot of waves just trying to generate the speed. So had he have used the wave for speed and gone to the bottom of the wave, that would have set him up for a better turn. Had he have projected up rather than across, up would have only been about half a meter, but he went about 4 meters on a double pump before he got his turn done. So he's wasting a lot of space. He has the same wave from a different angle, and you can see when he takes off, he's clearly looking down the line. So I'll point out he's kind of looking over there, where I was looking at a shorter distance. Where's the bottom of the wave? Where's the top of the wave? And I'm trying to connect the wave's speed and power, where I feel the surfer is just looking down the line and running from it. If you watch what happens is your first pump, second pump, and he's almost surfed entirely across the screen, and it's kind of like that wave's nearly finished already, yet he hasn't got any work done. With our second random surfer, when he takes off, he goes to the bottom of the wave, he goes all the way up to the top of the wave. So I want to pause it there and go, the positioning and the lines that this surfer is taking is pretty darn good. There is a but. If you look at this turn that he's trying to do over here, something is going wrong. So let's go super slow-mo, and you'll watch the board, watch when it stalls. So he stomps the tail, bang, the board stops. Stands on the tail again, the board stalls, and it stalls. There's no speed, he's not dropping in. He's going really, really slow. At that point, he almost nosedives. The board doesn't fit. He then kind of stomps the tail quite hard again, leaning back. And at that point there, I just felt he's lost a lot of speed again. So when I was taking off and the wave was a bit steeper, I was leaning into the bottom turn so that the wave could give me the lift. I feel that this surfer doesn't lean into the bottom turn, he stomps the back foot. And then when he goes up to the top turn, he applies the same technique where he stomps the back foot. And it's all of that stomping that's giving him a pivot, but it's costing him speed. So here's that wave from a different angle in slow motion. So I want to pose the question, would you rather do good turns on the shoulder or bad turns in the pocket? Because we've got two completely different surfers with two different issues. So here the guy does surf top to bottom. He's utilizing more of the wave face. He's getting more turns done. The big but is that the turns are small, and I feel that if he focused more on looking where he wanted to go, that those could be really, really good, powerful turns. Okay, so here's an interesting one. This is our surfer at the back. Now, if I play that in regular speed, where's he on the wave and what's his technique like? So where's he surfing? What's your game plan? What are you doing? So our surfer takes off. He heads across the wave. He projects mid-face. So he's got a very similar problem to the first surfer. Now, when he comes to doing the turn, there's not much of a twist happening. In actual fact, he's bending his chest to the knee and he can't see the wave behind him. So he's putting a lot of effort, but it's not quite the right technique. He stomps the tail, loses speed, and the technique looks a little bit off. Had he, however, have looked at the foam and connected with the energy in the wave would have redirected him. His technique would have looked a lot more effortlessly, and his surfing would start to flow. Whereby, if I just go back a little bit, you'll see the little wobble and the stumble. So let's watch this. There's the wobble, there's the stumble, there's the bit of awkwardness, and then he's again setting off mid-face down the line looking for the second turn. So surfer number one, although he surfs mid-face out to the shoulder, he's got a brilliant turn. It's super, super clean. It went all the way around. It was powerful, and it ticks a lot of boxes. If he just went more top to bottom, he would be a brilliant surfer. Surfer number two, he goes top to bottom, but I think he gets too excited and he stomps the tail, costing him speed. If he simply took the time to hold the turns longer and look where he wants to go, he would easily be able to fix his surfing. Surfer number three, he's got a bit of number one and number two's problems, where he races out and stomps the tail. So he's got to slow down, read the bottom of the wave. When he's at the bottom of the wave, read the top of the wave and try to lift up to the top and start to use the wave energy to help him with his surfing. So one of the big takeaways, and especially at a wave pool, is that it's a very similar wave again and again and again. If you can get used to paying attention to the bottom and understanding where the draw comes from, and that after the draw, there'll be a target waiting for you at the top of the wave. And by understanding where to do it, you can then go about practicing what to do. If you want to keep improving your surfing, watch the next video.